this world.
We're changing gears slightly in this hour, talking all things the mental health of educators. Something that we don't necessarily think about often, and it's just because it's something that doesn't come to light necessarily, right? I mean, you don't hear educators, although of late here in South Africa, just this week, they were protesting, berating the cuts to government spending on education, saying that it has far extending effects. But mental health wasn't one of the things that they cited. And we are joined on the line now by Community Keepers Executive Officer, who is going to be speaking to us about their initiative, because the silent crisis that is unfolding in our classrooms is having an effect on these teachers. And Community Keepers, which is a mental health non-profit working in 89 schools nationwide, has revealed in its 2024 impact report that educators now urgently need emotional support, and they are doing it through playfulness as well as laughter. And the CEO of Community Keepers, Gerrit Laning, is joining us on the line. Is it Gerrit or Gerrit?
Nompumelelo, it is Gerrit, yes.
It's Gerrit. I get it now. Okay.
Not as difficult as the French names.
You were listening in on that, weren't you?
No, it isn't. Gerrit, thank you so much for your time. I was hoping to get in a laugh out of you there, just to make sure that the system and this approach that you are employing works on you as well. But I mean, this is a serious report that you are bringing light to. Just tell us some of, give us a bit of an overview about your findings that you have laid out in the report.
Yeah, Nompumelelo, thank you so much, Tebogo. What a pleasure to meet you guys. Yes, as you said, it is somewhat of a bleak landscape that we mapped out. We've been working in schools for the past 15, 16 years, and we've gradually seen challenges arise and challenges actually escalate. And part of what we've seen is that when we started working, we could predominantly focus on supporting the learner in the school. But we've come to realize that the educators are playing such a massive role that you cannot only peripherally look at them and support them kind of as a side note, but that they actually also need full-on support in this whole process.
Well, we are joined on the line by Gerrit Laning, Chief Executive Officer of Community Keepers, to talk to us about the importance of not just understanding, but helping educators when it comes to mental health issues. These are the people you are entrusting your children with on a daily basis. Oftentimes we are talking about the kids and their mental health, but what about the educators? That conversation will continue after this.
Mornings made better with Peter and Asanda on Rise and Shine, weekdays 6 till 9.
We continue with our coverage of recent arrests of activists and journalists in Harare during Monday's mass stay-away and protest. Dr. Tadini Masaya, who's the Secretary for the Information and Media of the United Zimbabwe Alliance, an opposition party founded in March 2022.
Every Zimbabwean is entitled to expressing themselves, whether they are ZANU-PF or they belong to any other political party or they do not. So what Geza and those that believe in his code did is within their rights. However, we also fully acknowledge that it is an internal fight, and as UZA, we did not participate in that internal fight. We are not going to be used as pawns as what happened in 2017 to usher in a different face for ZANU-PF. It does not matter who is the face of ZANU-PF. ZANU-PF is going to remain the same.
Mornings made better with Peter and Asanda on Rise and Shine. They talk about what Africans say about Africa.
23 minutes past 2 p.m. Central African Time. We are currently in conversation with Gerrit Laning, CEO of Community Keepers. Now, Community Keepers is a pioneering mental health non-profit working in nearly 90 schools across the country. They just released its 2024 impact report, and it paints a rather sobering picture, but also an inspiring one. Gerrit, let's talk about the program, Community Keepers. What is it that you are doing? And I understand that you incorporate a bit of laughter into your initiative and your offering, as well, as Nompumelelo mentioned earlier.
Indeed, we are, Tebogo. So yes, Community Keepers, we focus on mental health or mental well-being. And I think probably the easiest way to speak about it without being too technical is to say that we work with whoever we work with their levels of okayness. And I think that's something that all of us can resonate with. We know pretty much in the same way as when we are physically ill. We know when we are running a fever, we know when something is broken, and much in the same way, we know when we're not okay. And we essentially are saying that, especially in the communities that we work in, which are predominantly low-income communities, lower quintile schools, learners unfortunately do not have access to services or to that literally the listening ear, who are there to support them, to guide them through whatever crisis, whatever challenge they've got. And I think even more importantly for us is that we do not only focus on when there is already a challenge or when there is already a problem. We actually hold on to what the late Archbishop Desmond Tutu said. He said we need to go upstream and find out why people are falling into the river. And in that way, our programs are built also on preventative approaches where we literally build into the daily rhythms of the school, opportunities for learners to, in a group work context, actually get to know themselves, get to know, or get a better understanding of certain topical issues that are really prevalent to them, and kind of be in a position to make their own meaningful choices around life and around the world around them.
Gerrit, I'd like you to just, give us specific examples of the play intervention in particular that you have implemented in some of these schools and the results that emanate from them as well.
Yes, so in each of our schools, we have got dedicated rooms, therapy rooms, but they pretty much are meant to be spaces where people can be just themselves. And in those spaces, we've got numerous, tools, but ultimately they include stuff like toys. They include boxing bags. They include also a sand tray that is pretty standard in our work. And what we essentially do is we use all of those tools for learners to be able to, in a very playful way, take away the seriousness and the kind of the stuck-upness, in a sense, that are often associated with therapy, and to make it rather a process of growth, a process of exploration. And in that way, therapy and mental health gets destigmatized. And we know that using play therapy approaches is actually highly beneficial when we use them for learners specifically. When we work with our educators, it's a little bit of a different approach because we predominantly do not in groups work with them in a therapeutic context, but more in a preventative, proactive way. And yes, and what we actually are trying to get to with the educators is what is called the inner child. So each of us, no matter how old we are or how young we are, we've got the remnant of this child in our lives. And sometimes when we think about our inner child, it is a child that got hurt, but very often it's also a child that actually holds on to the child aspects of our lives, where we still could laugh and still could hope and still could look forward to life as having meaning and having possibility. Sure. And what we're trying to do is we literally refined and re-establish with that part of ourselves that have lost that ability in some ways, because we live in a country we live in a world, we live in a world, a zeitgeist, time thinking of time, where a lot of people have become extremely bleak, extremely negative, and we're saying yes, it's all
Yeah.
true. We don't ignore it. We're just saying that in some way you can transcend it when you connect again to that inner child.
Gerrit, for schools, perhaps parents or educators themselves looking to get in touch with you and want your service and your programs for their educators, for their students, how do they go about getting in touch with you?
Oh, now you're talking. We so wish, and it is part of our dream to be part in every single school. We believe that there should be a community keepers presence in every single school, and it's only 23,000 schools, so it's not that big a dream. It's possible, I think.
Wow.
But
Okay.
yeah, so at Tebogo, you have to dream big. You have to dream big. But yeah,
Absolutely.
so ultimately, we have got a very active website. So schools and any interested parties are quite welcome to express their interest to get involved with us through the website, where you will essentially be put on a database, and when and if funding becomes available, because that always is the downside of the work that we do. We need to fundraise in order for this to work. But yes, then we love to onboard as many schools as we can. We also have got a very, very active social media, and I know my social media people are going to be very excited that I even remembered to mention it, because I'm very bad on it, but we're
Yeah.
good on it. So we will react. We love to connect to people, and even though, or even if we cannot be like a permanent presence or an immediate presence, we often can help educators, schools with some resources. We can help with sometimes even with components of training, and we've got various ideas around how we can also make an impact while not necessarily be there 24/7.
Sure. Gerrit, I can't, just congratulate you enough on this initiative. I think it is fantastic, and you are really heeding Desmond Tutu's call to go out to the peripheries, because we do forget about educators and just the challenges that they have to face on a day-to-day. So thank you really for this